I got some shit to say too though. All ops, CCK, LMG, 56th Street, Belmont. Y'all never got back.
A separate shooting left a local rapper dead who police say is affiliated with a known street group. According to Philadelphia police, the deadly shooting claimed the life of Abdul Vicks, also known as Young Dul.
Hip-hop in its creation and its ideation and in practice is the counterculture, which is crazy enough to say because now it's become pop culture. It's definitely become a lot more watered down, but some things from that counterculture background still remain true to this day, and beyond that become more and more exacerbated by the fact that the people in it, people around it, the people supporting it, and the people that fund it do not look the same as when we first started. In terms of everything, goal, struggle, background, you name it. Maybe it's because as hip-hop culture has become pop culture, not only has the audience gotten larger and more worldwide, but it's gotten a lot younger. And with that, we have a constant identity crisis, which is very indicative of something that is made and, primarily enjoyed by young people. It makes a lot of sense. The experiences, themes, and ideas related to being a counterculture, developing in this new internet culture age, and just being enjoyed by so many young people has led to a lot of obsessions, quirks, and issues that I'm not sure we can ever get out of. Let's talk about it. So what are our obsessions? Things like hedonism, violence, fast money, and just overall antisocial behavior. We're gonna get a little deeper into each of these, but I guess first let's talk about why. There's a lot of reasons, but they're all pretty obvious. First, art forms like hip-hop have a habit of aging people out in terms of their cultural relevance and their say in what's being created and talked about. And so the drivers of everything new, everything that becomes mainstream, and everything that becomes popular is the younger generation. It's being made for the younger generation and by the younger generation. And old heads just have to fade into obscurity and listen to, y'all old nigga raps in peace. But the rest of the world is not listening to it. Even if it may be the more, quote unquote, true version of hip hop. Of course, there's an exception to every rule, but in general, hip hop and pop culture as an extension is definitely a young man's game. Once you touch that big 35, 40, they start to look at you a little different if you're still making music for the young folk. So what comes with being young? There's a lot of deviant behaviors, there's a lot of things done to stand out, find yourself, or just for no reason at all. There's a lot of chances being taken, a lot of mistakes being made, a lot of things that at somewhat older ages, 30, 40, 50, most people have either already personally experienced or have seen, been done, and aren't thinking about it anymore. Rightfully so. Ages 12 to like 30 are the ages of identity crisis and identity exploration. Ages where your brain's not fully developed, you're just learning the world, learning yourself, and just overall developing as a human. And I guess rapping, singing, or whatever else about the mistakes that you're making and the life that you're living is enticing or entertaining to, the world. Especially those that have gone through or are currently going through those same issues. So is it necessarily a bad thing? I can't really call it. But what I can say, the glorifying of and the benefits that come from speaking about a lot of these behaviors is leading the youth down a dark path. And that's kind of crazy to say because I think technically I'm still the youth. I'm holding on to that for as long as I can. But let's talk about it. What are we obsessed with? Let's start with antisocial behavior. For this, I use the psychology definition, which is really just all things that negatively affect other people. Lying, manipulation, stealing, harassment, gaslighting, things like that. And this is the most general category we can talk about. Honestly, I can't name an artist that isn't a representation of antisocial behavior. But if I had to choose, I'd go with my favorites, Future and Brent. They're praised for being quote unquote toxic. And I can't lie to you, I enjoy it myself. But what is it about that makes it so appealing to their audience? For me, as a listener, I think it's subverting expectations. In this era, it's kind of hard to get away with expressing exactly how you feel and doing exactly what you want as a man, even if other people may suffer as a result. Deep down, given the opportunity, some people would love to be that selfish. Womanizing, gaslighting, manipulating, excessive partying, etc., etc. And if you think about those actions, those values, that whole mindset, it's pretty much a young man's game. It makes sense why it's mostly young men that enjoy it. And of course, they also have a female audience. And me personally, I can't speak to why that's appealing to them, but it probably has something to do with that whole bad boy image that women just can't seem to shake and has gotten y'all in trouble for very, very long. Something about being anti-establishment or being just the opposite of what is good for you seems to flip an attractive switch on in the minds of young women. And they love to support anything they're attracted to. as we know from, R. Kelly, Chris Brown, and all the rest of them. But the lifestyle that these two rap and sing about leads well into the next topic that I want to talk about. Something that we know well that we're super obsessed with as a culture: hedonism, drugs and sex. Searching for pleasure anywhere you can get it leads people down the craziest paths in this world. Causes family issues, causes legal issues, causes social issues. But yet we sell it on TV, we sell it in our music, we sell it in our content, we sell it everywhere. At the number one spot, we sell sex, and maybe drugs is like numbers, 5, 6, or 7 or something. But it's up there. We could talk our super freaky music videos anytime from the 2000s to right now. We could talk specific rappers like, NLE Choppa or Sexy Red. Or we could talk our rappers that are also just funneling people into their OnlyFans, like a Sauce Walker or a Ruby Rose or any of the failed IG model rappers. Or we could even just talk our social media apps, which have now become just sites to sell sex and sex work, perverting minds as early as possible. No real filters. Everybody's just a super freak. But honestly, can you blame them? It's a biological response. We are genetically programmed to want more and more of that specific thing every day because we need to reproduce to survive. And so we're abusing the minds of the impressionable and the easily manipulated and selling them a product that we know that they're biologically inclined to want. I have mixed feelings about this because although it's harmful, at a certain point everything's harmful. Even the sun is harmful. In moderation, I'm a fan of all things. Hey, shake that ass, twin. But when does it become too much? I love a good Sexy Red, but at a certain point, when does the subject matter change? When does the, over-sexualization stop? I don't love Kevin Gates, but I can appreciate Kevin Gates. When does it stop? When do you start becoming, a regular conversationalist? The problem is probably never, because that's deeply ingrained in their personality. But that personality is antisocial, hedonistic, overly pursuant of pleasure in very loud ways.
Please forgive me.
Which influences the young people to do just the same. I ain't talking about drugs yet because I wanted to separate that. Because although sex is biological and there's a evolutionary response associated with selling sex, there is nothing associated with going out and sipping lean or doing whippets. Y'all just be tripping. And again, it's probably easier to talk about the rappers that wouldn't be seen with drugs than the rappers that would, because the list is long for rappers that have been seen with or rap about and in some way promote doing whippets, lean, perks, Xans, whatever else. No matter how many people are dying from it, no matter how bad it, fucks your mind, your brain, your teeth, your body up, it don't matter because the people that are making money are doing it, so why wouldn't I? And personally, I'm not gonna turn this into a dare program. This may be revolutionary to say, but I honestly don't care what you do in your house. You can smoke whatever you want, inject whatever you want. Just don't try to make it seem cool on the internet. People on social media are having lean wars like, yo, you didn't start sipping until we made sipping cool. Sipping is not cool. Please, let's not try to make that a cool thing. All my underground fans are, functional opiate addicts and just hanging on day by day because their favorite rapper sips lean and he's still alive, so why not? And honestly, two of my favorite rappers are good examples of this. Lucky and Babyface Ray. Both talk about struggles with kicking the cup. They don't really glorify it, they don't really put it down, but at least they make it known that it's not a good thing to do. Whereas, even in interviews, you can see rappers popping perks, doing whippets, having whole tapes, songs dedicated to their love for certain, opiates. At times, it's like, damn, bro, do you not know your audience? Or, do you just not care? You're creating new addicts by rapping about this shit like it's cool. The next young, impressionable rapper or listener is now listening to this like, okay, I gotta try the same things. But I guess it sells. And speaking of sells, that leads us into our next topic. We are thoroughly obsessed with making money, and not just any kind of money. Fast money and easy money. Now, let me come clean. I would be lying to you if I told you I don't listen to any of the rappers that I talked about before this or any of the people that I will talk about after this. But especially here is where I fall short. I love to listen to the drug dealers and the scammers. Sometimes the music just speaks to me too. If you're less impressionable, you can find meaning in any and everything and take those stories of, making $100,000 and losing it all because you bought the wrong brick or whatever and turn that into a legal business strategy and use that to motivate yourself to do positive things. But if you're one of the more impressionable people, you may just be inspired to go pick up a brick or go pick up, one of them credit card machines or whatever it's called. Because as of right now, our culture is obsessed with living lavish and having a lot of money to spend. And if you're 17 and seeing all your role models young with money and women, how are you gonna get it? The easiest way you know how. The way that rappers like TJX6, Punch Made Dev, Peasy, and Babyface Ray all tell you how to do. Go pick up that card, go pick up that brick, go make a play. And for these young impressionable minds, even if the stories are blatant, they tell you exactly how they went wrong and why you shouldn't do it. I know me, I wouldn't have listened when I was young. So here is where I give the most leeway. I don't really mind y'all stories about selling what y'all sell, because most of the time it comes with the repercussions. Rappers do a good job of telling the full story. Yeah, I sold this, but here's also all the people that went to jail and all my homies that died. Cool. If a young person decides to keep going and sell just based off of that, they're gonna learn based off of their experience, just like you did and just like I did. But what comes with this fast money lifestyle is usually having to protect that fast money. And that is the final thing we need to talk about, and probably one of the most important. We are obsessed with violence.
Listen to nice music. Listen to happy music. Listen to music about relationships and shit. You ain't shooting shit. So stop listening to that music. You want to hear shoot 'em up, shoot 'em at, nigga, you don't shoot shit. So why the fuck do you want that music that damn bad?
I talked about this a little bit last week, where I said being happy is not as relatable as you would think. Even right now, a major trend going on social media is being a young nigga, a YN, being the pinnacle of a crash out, toting guns, shooting shit just for fun. And of course the pop culture is a joke. A lot of people don't have to live that life. But for those that actually are put in those scenarios and seeing this being glorified, just a little bit, you're like, you know what? I am that guy. That becomes the birth of a lot of the fake personas, a lot of the idiocy that we see on the internet. Everybody is just super tough and ready to die over the smallest issues. We have fake crash outs like Baby Kia. We have real crash outs like TK. And we have millions of people somewhere in the middle, just ready to go at any moment's notice. It's not a viable option, but yet it's the type of music that we live and promote. Julio Fulio, NBA Youngboy, Spinner Benz, everybody in New York except for the sexy drill guys. Kyle Rich, Tata, Jen, Shy K, everybody in Sugar Hill, all the Chicago drill guys, and now even we got drill in Baltimore. We're beefing publicly, loudly, and disrespectfully over wax. People die, and then we make songs about them. Why? One, it's entertaining, and two, it's people's real lives. But being entertained by death, destruction, is a very morbid part of human curiosity. It's hard to tell people to stop listening to it, and it's hard to tell people to stop living that life. But something has got to give, because the cycle keeps going. People are dying over listening to the songs. People are dying over making the songs. People are just dying. And the violence will stop when? Maybe when there's more community centers. I don't know. But something's got to give.
In my mind, though, and this may be a wild take, if the music was not about harming other black bodies and instead was about, maybe harming some white bodies, it may not get the same push from the label that it currently does. But that's just a thought. I don't want no harm to nobody. In any case, we know one thing. At a mainstream level, there's one machine behind all this. The label is pushing it all. Now, do they have an ethical responsibility to push forward music that isn't directly harming, firstly, the youth, and then underprivileged communities? Morally, of course. But legally, maybe not. They want to make as much money as possible. And they know, as much as you and I know now, what sells and what doesn't. And sadly, it's not positivity.
It's hard out here for anything positive.
Because why would it sell? If you want to relate to the most people, you appeal to their desires. And what do people want? They want to live vicariously through others who are doing what they can't. They want money, they want pleasure, they want drama, they want controversy, but they want to see it from afar. They want something to talk about. And so our artists give them something to talk about. We'll do whippets on camera. We'll tattoo Baphomets and pentagrams on our bodies. We'll date and then break up with the same 6 girls that are all throughout Hollywood. Any and everything to keep the attention and money flowing in.
So all in all, there's a level of personal responsibility that has to be held with the person listening to the music. We can't blame artists for everything that they put out, because at times it's just their experience. But we can blame them for some of it. Like, you can speak about your experience in a way that is positive and not have an overt negative effect on the culture, whether that's hip-hop culture or pop culture as a whole. Because sadly, even though you may be past that phase in your life, this music now is being marketed directly towards the younger generation. And they're feeling the effects of the nonsense that y'all been spreading. And me too. I'm not gonna leave myself out of there.
There's so many more fulfilling ways to get people's attention, to get people to support you, than to promote nonsense to the young and impressionable. But that is the easy way to do it. And if I know one thing, I know not everybody is cut out for the hard way. If you gotta feed your kids, I can't really blame you, bro. But what I can do is hope. In any case, it's up to the rest of us to at least ensure that we're doing our part to spread some positivity around, man. Because the culture itself is very toxic, very negative, and it's not just hip-hop culture, it's pop culture in general. But we're gonna fight against that, won't we? In any case, that's not what I think. What do you think?